So I was hired April of 1974, spent 3.5 years in patrol, and then went in detectives, and that's where I remained for 30 years. Detective, eventually made sergeant, and eventually made lieutenant. During that time, worked every major case in Galesburg: homicides, kidnappings, rapes, as well as back in the mid-'80s, organized at that time, the largest federal drug task force in the FBI history. Was then nominated and went to the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, and that was in 2003. A great experience, and came back, and within a week the FBI in Springfield here had contacted the chief of police and myself, wanting to know if the chief was willing to allow me to go to work in Washington, D.C. on behalf of the FBI. I got okayed to go to Washington, D.C. and work in the National Joint Terrorism Task Force. So I retired on August 3rd of 2007. So 16 people were chosen, and we did interviews with the county board, and I got the nod to do it. So that's been 15 years ago. Probably the biggest change that is daily is technology. Computers, everything is generated by computers. Squad car has a computer. You do your reports in the squad car now. Everything is technology, and if you don't get in on it today, it's going to cost you twice as much tomorrow. A couple of things. Under a serious note where deputies are called to a horrific crash and administer first aid, whatever it may be, and then you, a couple of days later, have someone come in your office that's the parent of the deceased and is very, very down to earth of how great that the deputies responded, how great they were to the not only the victims, but eventually at the hospital, the parents. That speaks a lot for those individuals. I can't tell you the last time I got a phone call complaining about a deputy. It's the opposite. I see such a huge increase in the number of calls complimenting. They may not know the name, but they'd say, 10 o'clock last night on this address or this location, a deputy stopped by or responded to a call. And, that's great to see. Probably one of the problem areas is the jail. And it's not the employees, it's obviously the inmates. But when you have an individual who needs mental health attention, and I'm guessing this was probably 12 years ago, and you've tried several avenues to get that, and the door closes on you. And then you find that he hanged himself in the cell. And that's tough. I think that just a simple thank you, a simple handshake means more to me than anything, because I know that they did not feel like they were put on the spot to do that. They came up in public, whether I'm out for dinner or playing golf, and people shake my hand and thank me. And they do that with everybody in the department as well. So I believe that the public, the majority of them support law enforcement, but they become the minority because they don't speak up. And on the way down here this morning, had a local business owner call me proposing what he would like to do for law enforcement. So, it's the support of the public is there. And I think it will be there a year from now, 2 years from now. But what may or could happen during that period of time is defunding law enforcement. These people need to speak up and show their support by doing so.
Mm-hmm.
As with the sheriff, I probably receive more phone calls at night at home than I do at work from the public. The public will stop by the house occasionally, and whether they're criminals and have been charged in my jail, they've shown up, as well as John Q. citizen stopping by. And it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. And anybody says differently, they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing with the Sheriff's Academy. There was a huge debate. Some thought that it was a calling at a very early age. Others said, no. It was just a convenience of graduating from college and getting a job. And I think it's a calling.